Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subtico som kere konsolata konsolferino. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Yo, let's get it started indeed right now. Thank you guys for tuning in to Wanna Bet. We appreciate it. We continue to try to effort to make this show better across the board as a audio experience, as a visual experience. We thank our friends at Odyssey for working with us. We're still working through some technical difficulties that don't allow us to be on a lot of platforms simultaneously just yet. So if you're watching this live, you're watching it on YouTube, which, look, we love you guys tuning in wherever you tune in. But soon we're going to be able to get it back blasted on Twitter at the same time. That's easier for some people as well. And we've got, again, new graphics and stuff that we're working through. So thank you for bearing with us through the process. Some days it's easier to start right at noon than others. We come to you off of a Thursday night that it's a bounce back Thursday night that I know I definitely needed. Beltway Ben, there we go. We got our new betting tickets. Thank you to, again, everybody at Odyssey in the graphics department. Look at that, Beltway Ben. That's looking pretty good. We pushed on Iceland -2. We needed one more passing touchdown out of Drake May to have an absolutely boffo night last night. If we would have got that other passing touchdown out of Drake May, Beltway Ben, I think we might have been putting the bibs on. At least I would have. I mean, I'm dying to put the bib back on. In fact, I got to move the bib. I feel like ever since I moved the bib from where I had been keeping it on the desk, Ben, that I've been in the shitter. I've been scheisse. So maybe this will help. Look, that ball got knocked down late. You had Mac Hollins not hold on to a ball, and Henderson scoring from outside the 5-yard line a couple times early in the game kept us from that second May passing touchdown. But we were all over that game. We said Justin Fields' legs are going to be a big deal. We said May can throw it all over them, and he probably will. We thought that the big number wasn't big enough for New England still not to cover it, and we didn't think that we'd get more than 14 points out of the Jets. Also want to give a huge shout out to Houston Christian. Beltway Ben, I texted you at halftime of that game. I was about ready to lose my shit more than I normally do. Like, I've had so many beats lately where a team faces a terrible defensive team and chucks up nothing but threes from all over the place and miss. With 30 seconds left in the first half, Houston Christian was shooting 2 of 15 from three-point land against a terrible Louisiana Monroe, sorry, Monroeians, who can't defend. And they were down by 12, and I needed them to win by 9. They went on to win by 21 points the rest of the way, and all was right in the world, and they covered that 8.5 by half a point, and we needed that. So thank you, Huskies. You are on a Hall of Fame track, and Beltway Ben, they're 14-5-1 against the spread out of conference since 2023. They're 24-12-1 against the spread after a loss since 2023. You're damn right. We're going to hear more from the fighting Houston Christian Huskies the rest of this basketball season.
Ryan, there's a guy on Twitter, Ryan Simpson, who's awesome. He always comments on our stuff. He tweets out, I saw it was like 8:45, Houston Christian on their way to banned list in record time. Then responds, never mind, Mount Rushmore, exclamation point, LOL.
Like, I text you, dude, when they were 2, I mean, how do you go 2 of 15 against, like, I don't care if they were playing the Houston Cougars, how you go 2 of 15. Like, they can shoot the ball. They still ended up scoring 80 points. They had 33 points at halftime. Like, I'm like, what against Louisiana Monroe at home? I'm like, come on.
Yeah, no, that was definitely.
I'm thinking I'm totally jinxed. Like, who was it recently who was like 3 of 18? Detroit against the Wizards, right? Then I had the other loss where I lost by half a point on the team total.
Against Kent State.
Dude, and how about then it was the UNC Wilmington against whatever guy, against freaking whoever they were playing.
Kent State.
They started the game, like, they shot 27% in the first 13 minutes of that game. They had 3 kids on the court, 6'8" or taller. No, the other team's got nobody over 6'5", and they're missing threes. Yeah. I was starting to think it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. And anyway, to the guy, I knew there'd be a guy Ben, I knew there'd be a guy. Oh, you're hiding from your record. I flogged myself publicly. Like the idea that we're like, bro, I mean, we had well, whatever. I caught myself. That's not a cuss word. We had an intervention. Ben walked me through a bet. Like, bro, nobody felt worse about it than me and probably my wife.
With all due respect, it was on me. I genuinely got to the station and hadn't put the bet slip together. It had nothing to do with Jason. And
we're
the guy
also trying to get a new laptop in the mix. Like, there's all kinds of
we also have a new betting
right
slip that we were working with. I was trying to figure out how to use it. You see, 2 days ago we had the old betting slip. Today we have a new one. It has nothing to do with records or anything like that. We didn't hide when I was down 10 units in May or June, anything like that. We put it up every single time. So no, I saw that, and that dude also complains a lot. If you go through our comments, he complains.
Why don't you tail Portnoy and those assholes? Why don't you do that? Give them your money, you jamoke.
He's just a complainer. Just a whatever, dude. Like, you're still watching our videos. Thanks for watching.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Exactly.
I knew there'd be a guy. I knew there'd be a guy.
100%.
All right. Anything else you want to say about last night?
No, it was we were down a little bit.
What did Taylor? I thought Taylor covered. What did he end up with?
30. Yeah. Really.
That's good. I knew he was at 30 early in the game.
No, yeah. He finished with 30, 3 yards short. Diggs cleared easy. Brees Hall. I also took his receptions. He ends up with 2. Justin Fields, for whatever reason, unless the play is dead and then he wants to check it to Brees Hall, he's not going his way. So that was unfortunate for me. But it is. We didn't finish down much. Devin Booker cashed for us in a big way. Loved what he did. Very, very good.
He was on fire. Yeah, Phoenix not nearly as crappy as I thought they were.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Let's give you guys what you came for. And gals and otters, maybe even. If you have a pet otter, let us know. I can't talk my wife into that. I've talked my wife into some stuff. She's not going for a pet otter. We did adopt an otter at the Maryland Zoo, though. We're actually overdue. We're overdue to check him out. I gotta double back on that. They let you in once a year. You come in early before the zoo opens, and you get to help them feed the otters.
That's incredible.
I'm pretty sure I saw a place. Are you into otters?
Just like animals.
There's a lot of otter content. There's a place on the way to Ocean City where you can swim with otters. We should take a field trip there, and we should do the show from there.
Live from the water.
Don't you can swim with otters. Yeah, you can swim with otters.
That would be fun. That would definitely be fun. A good field trip or the one.
We should do yes.
Technically be second, right? We went to the Sixers game. It was. Would you consider?
Yeah, but we didn't do any content from there.
True. We did do parlay from the arena that cashed.
But we didn't do the show from.
No, right.
Trust me, it took me 2 hours to get off that park. I could have done 5 shows. We could have cut a whole bunch of videos that Saturday night trying to get onto Broad Street. All right, enough. All right, first down. We've got an interesting lineup in college basketball tonight. 2 CAA powerhouses against 2 MEAC teams. We're on opposite sides of it. So Norfolk State is playing at right around the corner from me at the Towson Tigers. Towson's an elite D and rebounding team. Towson under Pat Scarry always plays at a slow pace. And we just saw Towson. The Houston Cougars struggled at home to get 60 points in their barn against Towson. Now, might they let up against Norfolk State? They might, Beltway Ben. They might. But the other night, Norfolk State needed 11 foul shots to get to 57 total points. Norfolk State has nobody on their team above like 6'5". Both of Towson's starting guards are bigger than Norfolk State's center. I'm using air quotes. I don't think Scary is a run up the score guy. That's why I'm not playing the point spread here. But we're taking an all total, and Norfolk State's got to get to 68. Like last year, Bryant barely got to 68. Bryant, really good NCAA tournament against a lesser version of Towson. Like they're holding people to 60, 65, 62. You look at Towson out of conference. They're a dead under team, 20-6 to the under. Now, they might score a little bit more against Norfolk because of the size, but I think it's a slow it down, get to the foul line kind of game. And then Charleston's playing South Carolina State. Last year, Beltway Ben, I thought South Carolina State was the best team in the MEAC, mostly because they had some handle and they played a little defense. And in the MEAC, it's manic, crazy speed basketball, and everybody's assist to turnover ratio is like bonkers. South Carolina State had a solid backcourt, and they actually rebounded and played some defense. All those kids left. Like, I'm watching them now this year. I don't recognize this team at all. Like Louisville scored 104 against them and didn't even shoot that well. Like, LaSalle scored like 87 on them. And this Charlotte team's a little, like Charleston's a little disjointed for me. Like, I don't really love them so far this year, what I've seen of them. But it's another one where they can just lob the ball all day and get fouled. And if, like, I'm playing it down to 82. Like, if they shoot decent at all, like the kid Dugan comes out and he looks all right early, I think they're scoring 90. I think South Carolina State, you're going to look at them and their KenPom defensive metrics, and it's going to be, even by MEAC standards, I think it's going to be problematic. So we're parlaying Charleston to score 82 points. Norfolk State not to score 68, minus 111.
First down for me, we are going to go to Josh Hart for the New York Knicks, over 12.5 rebounds and assists, and you can get this at minus 115. I would get it now because by game time, I would expect this number to be something different. The Heat are allowing 49.8 rebounds per game, which is the second most in the NBA. Now, we already know Jalen Brunson is out, so that opens up some assist opportunities for Josh Hart. Last season, his last 10 games that he played without Brunson, because Brunson missed a month late in that year, he went over this in 6 of 10. So he's going to have the ball in his hands. Like, Miles McBride is probably going to be the fill-in for Brunson, but I think they're comfortable letting Josh Hart handle the rock. We know how aggressive he is on the glass, and against a team in the Heat that are going to play fast and chuck it, I don't think everything is going Cat's way. Josh Hart will grab some long boards. He's the aggressive, dirty work kind of guy for the Heat. He's gone over this a bunch, even with Brunson playing, but without him now, I think he could get us 10 rebounds, and we'd only need 3 assists. With no Brunson taking away 8 assists around there per game, I do like Josh Hart to go over this number. It's going to be a tight game, the NBA Cup type of matchup. The Heat are actually playing decent basketball. So, and it's also on national television. It's the prime game of Friday night. So I think Josh Hart knows kind of what's at stake here. He's played in a lot of these big games. He showed up in the playoffs before. I like him to go over 12.5 rebounds and assists at minus 115.
Love it. Second down, we're going to World Cup qualifiers. Again, we're you talk about woulda, coulda, shouldas. If Erling Haaland finishes a head ball into the top corner in the 44th minute that I thought was going in, if that goes in, it's a 3 lobster night for sure. He ends up scoring in the 53rd minute instead of the 44th. But look, if you were going to play Haaland yesterday, anytime goal was minus 770. So where did I see the value in the minus 180 as part of to score in the first half? First goals I suck at. I can't, but I am playing one today, but I suck at it. We're transparent here. So I just, the numbers didn't look right to me. Like, I'm like, that's where the value is. Now, he seemed didn't really want the ball much in the first half. He still scored twice, and we still got the 3 goals out of Norway. We're alive, though. We're alive in some interesting parlays off of yesterday's results. Germany's playing Luxembourg. This is a World Cup qualifier. UEFA World Cup qualifier to the right to go to the World Cup. Germany hasn't been typical Germany in qualifying. They burned us against Slovakia earlier in this cycle. They burned us against Northern Ireland earlier in this cycle where we thought they'd win by more than a goal, and that was an ugly 1-0 game. They haven't been great on the road, but they're due to get well on the road. And they need this result to go through. It's not one of these where they're just playing for pride. No, they're playing for goal differential. They're playing to win the group. They're playing in a struggle to qualify for a World Cup, which doesn't happen to Germany very often. And they're playing a Luxembourg side that they beat 4-0 in Germany in the last meeting. Luxembourg to Germany, go look at a map. This is not difficult travel. This is not changing time zones. It's not going to Kazakhstan or anything like that. And we like them to do the job. Luxembourg can't score, Beltway Ben. They've got 1 goal scored and a negative 10 goal differential in World Cup qualifying. So we are going to play Germany to win to 0 and Germany to win by more than 2 goals. It's Germany minus 2. If they win by 2, we push on that part of the bet, and we would just hit on Germany to win the 0, assuming they don't give up a goal, obviously. So that would be about minus 150 by itself. We're willing to risk the push. I think it could be 2-0. But if it's more than that, obviously we hit. So Germany to win to 0 plus Germany minus 2 plus 137. We also have a half unit on Germany correct score 3-0. That's plus 550 Beltway Ben.
Yeah, second down here, we will go to college football. I There's one game that I really like here, and it's Oregon tonight. And it's not on the spread. It's just their team total over 34.5. If they cover that big 25.5 or whatever the number is now, they're going to score 35 points. And they also could just not cover, but still score what they need to. Minnesota's played 3 road games this season. Let's look at what they've done. 27 points to Cal, whose offense isn't what everybody thought it was with the freshman quarterback after 3 weeks. Ohio State, 42. Now, Ohio State's a good team. Ohio State's on par with Oregon. And then 41 to Iowa. Now, this isn't your old Iowa where they're scoring 9 points and winning games 9-7. But still, the Iowa offense, they've only gone over that number like once all season, or over the 34.5 number twice or 3 times all season. I do expect Oregon to score enough here. They've cleared this in 3 of 5 home games. And he's not like, Dan Lanning is not a coach that's going to sit out. And if they're up, 28 late, he's just going to run the football 3 times and punt. Dan Lanning is a prideful guy. He likes running the score up on people. You don't have to worry about that late with him. And that's what I like about him, quite honestly, because if you're betting him, you always have a chance. Whether he has the first team in, the second team in, the third team in, he's always looking to score a lot of points. And in today's college football playoff area, especially with the way that this conference is going, expecting to see the Ohio State-Indiana matchup in the Big Ten Championship, Oregon needs to win, and they need to win these games pretty big. Just have statement games here. And at home, under the lights, a Friday night, I do like them to go over their team total of 34.5.
Nice. Third down for me, going to the NBA. We're looking at the Bucks versus the Hornets, and we're looking at that Knicks game that Beltway Ben talked about with Josh Hart. Knicks and the upstart run and gun Miami Heat. How are we playing this game for the Apple Bottomers and the Spotifyers? We are taking Milwaukee to beat the Hornets, Milwaukee to score at least 118 points in the process, and the Heat to score 112. Why do we like this? Well, these teams just played a few days ago in Charlotte. This game's in Milwaukee. And look, does this NBA Cup stuff usually give me the heebie-jeebies? And that's why, look, this is only plus 112. When I'm playing a 3-leg parlay, I'm usually getting more than that. But I'm trying to be a little conservative here because, A, we've sucked lately, and B, the NBA Cup, there's a little variance there. Like, do people take it as seriously as the other stuff? But here's why I like Milwaukee. They just got embarrassed 110 to 100 by Charlotte. Now, Greeky Freaky didn't play in that one, and Greeky Freaky's playing as well as anybody. And everything I've read, and the injury report and everything else, it sounds like Greeky Freaky's playing in this one. Milwaukee averages 118 points a game. When Greeky Freaky plays, it's over 120. So there's that. Charlotte's allowing 118 per game. And Charlotte's really, like, their biggest problem defensively is they don't defend the 3 ball at all. Like, people shoot over 40% against them from 3 land. And since Melo Ball got hurt, and you don't have that length and those long limbs defending the 3-point arc from the point guard spot, boy, the numbers are even worse. What's Milwaukee's superpower? Well, one of them is shooting the 3 ball. They're third best in the NBA at it. So I like that part of the matchup. Milwaukee's playing for a lot of pride. They look like a team that cares pretty much every night. And I just don't think they get swept by the Hornets, and I think they flex their offensive muscles here. And then look, the Heat are the number 1 scoring team in the NBA, 125 points per game. The Heat are the number 1 pace team in the NBA, the number 1 possession team in the NBA. It's completely different than what it used to be. And look, will the Knicks try to slow it down at home without Brunson? Sure. But this is a really, again, they're averaging 125. We're playing it at 112. The Knicks had started the year as a great defensive team. It had started to slip Beltway Ben in the last 2 weeks. And you look, the last couple of times out, they've given up 124 and 133. Miami's going over 115 pretty much in every game they play in. And for these purposes, we need 112. So that's our parlay. Again, Bucks money line, Bucks to score 118, Heat to score 112 in the Garden, where everybody likes to chase points, plus 112.
Here on third down, we're going to go back to the NBA, and we're going to go with Jalen Suggs over 4.5 assists at plus 100. Again, another one of those props where I'm telling you now, plus 100 is a good number. I don't know that it's there all day. NBA lines move in a crazy way, and there's games every day, so it's different than the NFL where you have all week. NBA, I mean, it's one day, you get the props that morning and have to work then. I like Suggs over 4.5 assists at plus 100. The Nets are allowing 31 assists per game, which is the most in the NBA. Now, Paolo Banchero is out, which is everything for this prop. Jalen Suggs is their point guard, Paolo Banchero is bringing the ball up the court regularly. It's similar to what Tatum does in Boston, a lot of these different areas. Now, you can tell me Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, those guys are the guards. Tatum brings the ball up the court just like Paolo does. And him out means that Suggs is going to be controlling the ball a lot. Now, Franz Wagner is there still. He could steal some things. But Jalen Suggs is going to be handling the ball more than he usually does without Banchero. And you look at the minutes, what he's played, right? He's coming back from that knee injury that he suffered. This should be a somewhat close game, so we should be able to get a good, 5-6 minutes in the fourth quarter at least from him. They're slowly going up. We saw him play 29 on Sunday. He played 26 the other night. That's not as many as you want to see from a starting guy that you're giving out. But with a number at 4.5 this low, I feel comfortable that if he plays anywhere from 26 to 30 minutes, he's going to clear this total. And it's also not a 10 assist mark like we needed with Jokic the other night in that triple-double, or Cade Cunningham, or those guys. It's just 5 assists. We've seen dudes get this in one quarter or one half. And quite honestly, I think he's going to play 28 to 30 minutes, like I said before. So I don't think we'll have to worry about only getting, the Joel Embiid first half and then head to the locker room and sit out the whole second half. That's not where he's at in the rehab. He's sitting back-to-backs. They're giving him breaks. I'm comfortable taking Suggs over 4.5 assists at plus 100.
Excellent. Fourth and short again. I don't have great luck with this. But I did put a half unit on Memphis Depay to score for the first goal in the Poland-Holland do-or-die World Cup qualifier. Holland played with their foot a little bit early in the cycle, but have turned it on lately. They're battling Poland for top spot in the group. It is tough to go to Poland and score. I don't know there's going to be a ton of goals, but I do know that Holland have drawn a penalty in 4 of their 6 World Cup qualifying games. Memphis Depay has scored first in 3 of their 6 qualifying games. Yes, they've messed around with the PK duties. Like, they let Cody Gakpo, who can't score for Liverpool, to save his life, although he did bail us out once in Champions League, take a few. But, this is a huge do-or-die game. And you default to the people who have been the best players in the clutch over time. And he was their best player at the most recent World Cup. He has always showed up for them in big moments. I think he's taking the penalties here. I think this might be a 1-0, 2-1 type game. And for plus 400 for him to score first, I've got a half unit on it. These are always a bit of a dart throw. I get it. But again, he scored first in 3 of their 6 World Cup qualifiers. He scored in 5 of their 6 World Cup qualifiers. And they continue to play a ticky-tack style of play, which they've been doing since Johan Cruyff was running point at Ajax. And that tends to draw a lot of fouls, and a lot of fouls around the box. So that's where we are. Fourth down, Ben.
Fourth down, we'll go to I guess fourth and long. It's not as long shot as you'd like, but we're going to go with Wendell Carter Jr. Double-double at plus 210.
Mr. Wendell.
Yeah, we're going with a plus 210 double-double here. He's done it in 2 games this year, 2 or 3 games this year. He's been able to do it. I talked about Paolo being out before, how important that is for Jalen Suggs' assists. Go look at what Paolo's doing on the glass and how aggressive he is. Now, this is another area where Franz might dip in a little bit, but not enough to make me, feel worse about Wendell Carter, right? Wendell Carter grabbed 8 boards last game with Paolo, 9 before that. And I said he's already had a few double-doubles with Paolo playing. Another big thing here, he's gone for 10-plus points in 7 straight and 9 of his last 10. That's not an issue. When you take away Paolo's, scoring, rebounding, all of it, there should be lots of opportunity for Wendell Carter here in a matchup with the Nets that have just been horrendous. They're allowing more rebounds than most teams. They're allowing a lot of points inside. Nick Claxton will be on the court, which is good for us where they're not going small. We can keep Wendell Carter on the court because we've seen Mosley and what the Magic have done in recent years, kind of pulling Carter off the court to try to figure out what they can do and get a matchup, because Paolo sometimes can play bigger on guys if teams are going small against them. We don't have to worry about that here with Claxton's size and even the few bigs that the Nets can bring off the bench. I like Wendell Carter Jr. for a double-double at plus 210 and fourth and long, somewhat long.
I love it. Franz don't want to do all that. Wendell Carter's the guy for that. Overtime, I've got 2 plays here, Beltway Ben, both NFL plays. Again, overtime is pretty much, at least one of us is given a football parlay every day. I didn't do one the other day because we needed to workshop that NBA, because I'm like, there's money to be made on this Wizards game, and I've got to do it. I got to get out of this funk and change something up. All right. This one we're giving out now because this game is the early game on Sunday. So these odds are probably going to change sooner than some of the other ones. Tua to throw 2 touchdown passes and at least 210 yards plus 100. We also like Tua to throw 3 or more passing touchdowns at plus 260. Why do we like these bets? Well, he's playing Washington. Washington's allowed 22 passing touchdowns already this year. It doesn't matter that Dan Quinn's calling the defense. Nobody was doing anything that Dan Quinn didn't want done. Cover 1, cover 3, blah, blah, milquetoast vanilla bullshit. It's been getting exposed for years. It was even getting exposed at Dallas. You don't have Michael Parsons to cover it up anymore. You don't have any pass rushers at all. And if you give Tua a little bit of time to operate, he can still carve you up a little bit. Like he's done this in 2 of his last 3 games. In their last 4 games, Washington's allowed 13 passing touchdowns, a passer rating of 130.6. Yeah, that's worse than the NFL. 9.9 yards per attempt, 75% completions. Beltway Ben, in the last 4 games, the Commandos are giving up 298 a game through the air. Yeah, Miami can run it with Achane a little bit, but, I mean, they can throw it to Achane and he can get a whole bunch of yak against a bad tackling defense with no corners. The Commandos have allowed 3 passing touchdowns or more in 3 straight games, and they've allowed it in 2 of their last 3 away games. This game is being played in Madrid. I don't think the Commandos are very up for it, and Mike McDaniel's going to want to pad the stats and make Tua look good. Washington does not possess a whole lot to stop Miami from doing what they want to do offensively. I think Jaden Waddle absolutely goes off on this game. We'll get to him on Sunday. Double overtime. We like the Chargers to beat the Jags. And we like Justin Herbert to throw 2 touchdowns in the process, plus 123. Jacksonville Jaguars, last 4 games, Beltway Ben, 13 passing touchdowns allowed to just 2 picks. Poser passer rating of 110.7, almost 8 yards per attempt. They're 31st in the NFL in sack rate in that time. They can't generate pressure unless they blitz. I know there's no Alt. I know there's no Slater, but the Chargers have started to recalibrate for that. And there's not an individual pass rusher that you really have to fear here. Herbert's thrown for 2 or more in 4 of his last 5 games. There's injuries to the running back position. I think the Chargers, they've got, 6 guys with 250 yards more receiving. They can spread it out to anybody. Anybody can be the hot. And you're looking at Harbaugh, who for his career on the road wins and covers like few people in history. And look, Harbaugh, among all coaches with like 90 or more games since the merger, he's number 1 in cover percentage. I don't even need him to cover here. I just need him to beat a Jacksonville team that lives and dies on takeaways. They're not getting as many lately. And Trevor Lawrence sucks. And Jesse Minter's defense will expose him, and he'll turn it over a few times. So Chargers money line, Herbert 2 or more passing touchdowns, plus 123.
We're going to go 2 different plays here. We're going to go one with college basketball, and then we'll do one with the NBA. This is just a simple money line parlay. Washington, Northwestern, and Michigan on the money line. Washington playing Washington State in a rivalry type game. Washington has a much better roster. I think they have the better coach. They should be able to figure this out. They're a pretty big favorite here. I don't see them losing. Northwestern against DePaul. Another game. You have the rivalry right down the road. DePaul looked awful the other day against Buffalo. I watched the game. Last year, everybody was saying, with the coach, they're back, right? Spending time at Ohio State and going there. He was able to get them back. No, I don't think DePaul is back. They're not very good. Northwestern, you bring back, one of the better players in the Big Ten. They should have no issue winning this game. And you also bring back a coach where there were a lot of rumors that could he leave? Could Collins go somewhere else? No, he ends up staying in Northwestern. I don't think they'll have an issue beating DePaul regardless of where they play. And then Michigan, TCU. Not many people were higher on Michigan than I was coming into the season. Had pretty high hopes for them in Lendeborg. And Lendeborg hasn't quite turned out to what they thought he'd be yet. I thought he would be one of the best players in the country, and that just hasn't been him. He's also been on the bench late in that game the other day against Wake Forest. He was on the bench, and that's a spot where you expect your highest paid players. It's crazy talking college basketball. We're saying your highest paid players, but that's what it is. That's the day and age. He is one of the highest paid players in the country. He should be on the court in those spots. He's trying to figure it out still. He took a step up in competition, but he does have, the tools to be one of the better players in the country. I don't think Michigan has an issue with TCU tonight. So again, Washington on the money line against Washington State, Northwestern on the money line, and Michigan on the money line. You can get plus 131 on that. And then our NBA parlay, pretty simple. 2 legs we already went to, and then we throw in fears against the Lakers. Wendell Carter, 8+ rebounds, Josh Hart, 6+ rebounds, and Jeremiah Fears, 10+ points, plus 136. We broke down Carter against the Nets before. Don't see an issue there. If he's going to grab 8, he'll probably grab 10, but I just kept it at 8 because there have been a number of games this year where he's finished with 8 or 9 rebounds. And if we're looking back and we lose a double-double, I don't want to lose this play too by getting too greedy. Josh Hart, 6+ rebounds. I talked about it before. The Heat are run and gun. They're going to be shooting long threes. Hart is always aggressive on those areas, and he'll also get inside and grab boards. He plays very well for his size. And then Fears, 10+ points. He's done this in all but one game. The rookie's playing the Lakers tonight. It's a big-time matchup. He's been good getting to the free throw line. He's finishing inside towards the bucket like they expected him to when they drafted him. So I do like him to score 10+ points at +136. One more time for the listeners. Wendell Carter Jr., 8+ rebounds. Josh Hart, 6+ rebounds. And Jeremiah Fears, 10+ points at +136.
There you have it, folks. That's the show. Beltway Ben, what are we thinking for tomorrow?
Sometime early.
Okay. Yeah, you let me know.
9:30 or 10-ish. Somewhere around there.
Works for me. So there you go. Tomorrow will be around 9:30 or 10 Eastern. We will keep you abreast of the situation on our socials. 11 a.m. on Sunday. And then I'm guessing probably 10:30 or 11 with Caecilius on Monday. So that's what we have to come. We appreciate you guys tuning in, as always, and betting with us. So thank you, and see you tomorrow morning on Wannabet.